everyone! So years ago I did a body paint for the giant skeleton from Kubo and the Two Strings, and I have always wanted to do monkey. I love the texture of the character. Well, it took a few years, but I finally did it. Hope you enjoy it. I will go through a quick breakdown on how I made the fur pieces and the muzzle, so stick around. For the mouth, I used some foam clay. I took my face cast to build it. Used some foil to get the basic shape to build a shell. You might notice the plastic over the stone. I vacuum formed this for a different project, so that's why it's there. I did figure it would make it easier to remove the clay, so I left it. Just sculpted the two pieces, trying to make it look cohesive for when the mouth was closed. Used a spatula to keep them separated. Also blended the edges down as best as possible. Once I was happy with it, let it dry for 48 hours. Made some teeth and let them dry out. Then taking some fresh clay, put a strip along the top and push the teeth into place. Starting with the top piece and then lining up the longest teeth to the bottom, this way I can fully close the mouth when it's on. Add some smaller teeth, and then the teeth on the lower jaw are tilted back to give some space for the upper teeth. With a spatula, push back any excess product that might be sticking up and clean up around the teeth. The upper teeth stuck to the fresh clay, so I sprayed them with some cooking spray to help release it. Once it looks good, set it aside and dry. For the fur, I cut out tons of strips out of a roll of craft foam. Longer pieces for the arms, body, and shorter for around the hands and face. Pin it up and just add some color with some skin Illustrator, blue Bayou, followed with purple Justice. Now for the foam around the face. Mapped out where the mouthpiece will sit and rough out the eye area. Applied latex-soaked paper towel pieces to build out where the fur was going to be attached. Once dried, apply some latex to strengthen everything. Then hot glue and cut fur strips, starting from the back going towards the face. Use some larger pieces for the sides of the head to give it a wider shape. The ears are pretty hidden under the fur, so just cut them out of the same foam and painted them with the dark pink Mehron. Just keep adding more foam and cutting them into smaller pieces as needed. Once finished, I did have some extra to help blend the makeup. Use some powder to help carefully peel off from the stone cast. Now the makeup. Glue down the eyebrows with a glue stick. Took some skin Illustrator in black to block out my mouth. Also took a moment to goof off and back to work. Use the pieces to double check where the black needs to go. Grab Telesis Beta Bond Plus to adhere the mouthpieces and glue it around where the black is. Applying the pieces as one piece, that way I know the mouth will be able to close completely. Also glued some mesh on the inside coming out from the edge to give more of an area for the glue to grab. Get it into place and make sure it moves good. Next, to blend it to the skin, took tissue and latex to build up the piece out some and also help to reinforce it. Don't want it falling off midway through the makeup. Taking my time and making sure not to create too much texture onto the mouthpiece. You want a nice smooth transition. Also didn't want to join the pieces with the latex and cause a stress point as you move. This did happen on one side, so I took some scissors and reopened the area. Then went over everything with Prozaid. This will help to smooth everything out a little and help seal the foam clay for paint. Took Skin Illustrator Zero Color Powder to get rid of any stickiness. Also put some on the brows. Grab some dark pink Mehron Paradise paint and paint in the eye area and the mouth. Take Skin Illustrator Zero Marble Sealer to seal the first coat of makeup, then apply more to build the opacity. Using Skin Illustrator Purple Justice, add some shading around the mouth. Took a tissue to protect the teeth while adding the shadows to the lip wrinkles. And quick spurts of sealer. Wild Orchid Mehron to darken some of the areas and refine around the eyes and nose. Next, with pink Mehron paint, bring it under the lash line and on top of the eye wrinkles to create a 3D effect. Add it to the nose and mouth for more dimension. Took Kat Von D Vegan Beauty Lash Liner to line the eyes and grab some Mehron Edge in white to add brighter hotspot highlights. Back to the Wild Orchid color to add the scar and apply some Beta Bond Plus for the fur. Took some of the glue stick to glue down the little baby hairs around the ears. And carefully line up the headpiece and glue it down. Now time to use that extra fur we cut. Check how much is needed to cut to fit, and use some more Beta Bond to glue the foam. Going through and cutting the pieces as needed, and keeping them smaller for the cheek area. Using a Q-tip, take some latex on the edge of the foam to soften the transition into the skin. Went back and added a piece under the jaw so that it could blend into the collar piece. After everything has dried, powdered with Skin Illustrator Zero Color Powder. More of the Mehron Dark Pink over the fresh latex. And back to the Skin Illustrator Purple Justice, add some to the outer edges of the fur and intensify any shadow areas. Added some tiny strokes of Mehron Wild Orchid for fur texture. Using the color to start to sketch out the brow, then in with the pink to add some highlights to the edges of the scar and paint the brow. Taking the white Mehron Paradise paint to add some dimension to the brow, using this instead of the edge because I wanted a softer highlight. Go around and bring up any added highlights. Put on some eye primer and then apply a bright pink eyeshadow to the lid and add some to soften any areas. Some dark purple pigment to build up the area around the face and shade around the eyes, giving it a more 3D effect. Take some white pigment and soften any of the brighter areas. Do some final hotspot highlights with the Mehron white edge. Airbrush some of the Purple Justice to darken the fur a little and throw on the costume and collar. And there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.